Khabib says no to Islam's next super fight, putting a damper on the growing hype around the highly anticipated move to 170 pounds.
Right there. Everybody lucky to have it. Hello.
While excitement has been building around Makhachev's welterweight debut, especially after Jack Della Maddalena captured the division's crown at UFC 315, there seems to be no solid plan in place just yet. The idea of a legacy-defining bout at the legendary Madison Square Garden had fans buzzing, with JDM even calling out Makhachev for his first title defense.
Next fight, who is it?
It's going to be Makhachev, I'm almost certain, which is good. I'm going to get back for Volk, and then don't know where at this point, but it will be this year.
Coach Javier Mendez, a longtime voice of Team Khabib, put the brakes on all the anticipation in a recent interview. According to him, not only is there no official fight date, but Makhachev hasn't even entered training camp.
There's no game plan. We haven't started yet.
I mean, once
There's no game plan. We have not started yet. The fight's not signed yet, according to what I know. The date's not done yet, so there's no camp yet.
In fact, the Dagestani fighter has been spending time dirt biking, a clear indication that he's not preparing for any imminent fight. Mendez emphasized that without a signed contract and a scheduled date, the rumors don't hold weight. He even joked about Makhachev's love for extreme sports, reinforcing that no training means no fight, at least for now.
I mean, Islam is training like always, but I just seen him in dirt bike riding where he's an extreme adventure guy. So I don't think the fight is happening next month or anything like that. So
if he's taking huge,
yeah, he's enjoying. Yeah, he's not allowed to do extreme sports while close to fight time. So there's no fight. So when is it? I don't know. We can look at. What are we talking?
With this update, hopes for a summer fight have been significantly deflated. Mendez named a potential time frame stretching from September to January, leaving a wide window for when or if the bout will take place. He was also quick to caution fans about believing any early announcements that don't come from the UFC itself. For him, anything said by managers, fighters, or media isn't official unless confirmed by the organization.
Everything's taken, right? So September's Mexico, October, November, December, January. So look at any one of those potential 4 months as when we get the sign in. And also, me saying this means zero. What matters more than anything is the UFC announces it on their website.
Yeah,
match is done. It's done. Even if the manager, even if the opposition corner, even my corner says, "Oh, we're fighting," guys, don't believe anything.
Yes,
only believe the UFC because they're the ones running this organization. They're the ones that know. And who cares that you're the first one to leak it out? What, you got 50 more likes or 50,000 more likes than anybody else because you leaked it out first, but you leaked out wrong information.
Adding another layer to the situation is Joaquin Buckley, who's made it clear he's not thrilled about Makhachev jumping the line. Buckley has his own plans to capture the welterweight belt and believes he's the true test for Makhachev, not JDM.
So once I beat Kamaru Usman, right, there is no debate, there is no back and forth, there is no argument. Like, we up next. And you already know you got this guy from 155 coming up thinking he gonna take my spot, right? Nah, we can't have it. I truly believe that, with everything that's coming, the JDM fight and Islam fight is not a massive fight to make.
He stated confidently that Makhachev won't be able to out-wrestle him or submit him, and certainly can't hang with him on the feet. With an unbeaten submission record, Buckley believes he poses the biggest threat and that Makhachev will look for the exit once faced with someone like him.
JDM is the world champion right now, but I truly believe that Islam got to sit back and just wait for me to get my title, because I will be the hardest fight that Islam has. He's not going to out-wrestle me. Right? He's not going to submit me. I've never been submitted in my career. And he definitely not going to stand on the feet with me.
Buckley didn't stop there. He predicted that if Makhachev does beat JDM, he would likely retire rather than risk defending against someone as dangerous as himself. In Buckley's view, the UFC should focus on letting him claim the title first before granting Makhachev the shot, especially since the JDM versus Makhachev fight isn't, in his opinion, a major draw.
If the people want to see it, it's gonna be made. I already know that the fan base, they know, what JDM about. They know what he good at, what he struggles at. That's a toss-up for Islam, you know? And don't get it twisted. If Islam does get blessed with that title shot and he does beat JDM, he's not gonna stay there. He gonna retire. He gonna get up out of there quick, right? Because he know he's not a natural 170 fighter. And especially with myself, he definitely gonna run from a person like me. So before that even happens, I gotta make sure I get myself to that belt. But you already know, the world ain't fair, you know? Sometimes you don't get what you deserve. So this is why we gotta demand it. We gotta go after it, and we gotta take it. You already see it on my shirt. And take the throne.
Meanwhile, back on Della Maddalena's side, things remain cautiously optimistic. After his win at UFC 315, he quickly identified Makhachev as his ideal opponent and brought the idea directly to Dana White. The Australian champion even pitched Perth as a potential host city, to which White replied they were working on it. JDM has since given an injury update, stating he expects to return by mid to late year, depending on how his recovery progresses. He remains ready to face whoever the UFC puts in front of him, though Makhachev seems to still be the frontrunner.
Makhachev next, right? In Perth? Let's go. Cheers, Dana. Thanks, Hunter. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Legends. Cheers, guys. Save the welterweight division. Yeah.
Since Makhachev has now vacated his lightweight belt and only stepped into the octagon once this year, it's clear he's eager to make his return soon. Meanwhile, newly crowned Australian champion Jack Della Maddalena has shared a positive injury update and outlined a rough timeline for his next fight. He expects to be ready within 4 to 5 months, targeting a return sometime between the middle and end of the year for his first title defense against the 32-year-old Dagestani.
No plans yet, but yeah, we'll definitely be, I reckon we'll be getting back in there within the next 4 to 5 months, I believe. Some point, hopefully mid to late end of the year, we'll get something going. But I'm excited. There's a lot of top welterweight contenders. There's a lightweight guy that wants to come up and fight for the welterweight title. So there's a lot of challenges. So I'm really excited, and hopefully we can get in there real soon, because I'm feeling pretty good.
Making it clear that he's ready to take on the challenge if Islam Makhachev steps up, Jack Della Maddalena expressed full confidence in his credibility to reclaim the title, not just for himself, but as a form of redemption for Alexander Volkanovski. He also mentioned 2 potential opponents for his next fight, with Makhachev among them. With calm determination and growing confidence, Jack stated that he's prepared and will step back into the cage as soon as he's fully recovered.
They've said a guy named Islam Makhachev wants to come up. He's pound for pound #1, so that'd be a pretty cool fight. But then I think amongst the current welterweights, I think Shavkat's the #1 contender. So hopefully it's one of those 2 guys.
Well, Islam, he's already had a fair bit to say since your win. What did you make of it?
Yeah, no, I'm just stoked that he's I'm stoked that he's he's calling for a fight against me. It's a dream come true. I believe I can beat him, and I believe I can get him back for Volk, so it would be a pretty surreal moment. I reckon I can get it done.
Makhachev's manager Ali Abdelaziz added fuel to the fire by asserting that the Russian star will fight for the welterweight title this year no matter what. He claimed that if JDM isn't ready to defend, the UFC would strip him, just as they did when Jamahal Hill got injured. According to Abdelaziz, Dana White and Hunter Campbell have already confirmed this plan, and Makhachev's title shot is locked in, regardless of the current champion's situation.
I was last night to the office to probably 4 in the morning, tried to get stuff done. The one thing, Islam will fight this year, regardless if Maddalena injured, not injured, hurt. This is the word that was given to me by Hunter, by Dana, by everybody. He said, Jamal Hill got injured. We vacated him. Islam will fight for a title. And these guys give their word is gold to me. They always, whatever they say, they do. And he will fight someone. It can be anybody, but Jack Maddalena is the champion. Congratulations. Islam will fight him. But Jack is not ready. This belt will be Islam will fight for the belt, not an interim belt, for a real UFC belt.
As speculation swirls, former double champ Daniel Cormier offered his analysis of how a Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira would play out. JDM fight could unfold. Cormier acknowledged that Della Maddalena had surprised many with his well-rounded performance against Belal Muhammad, showing more skill than expected. However, he believes the key will be whether JDM can stop Makhachev's takedowns early. If the Australian can keep the fight standing, it becomes far more competitive, but if Islam gets top control early, history suggests his opponents tend to struggle significantly.
I think Islam and Jack Della Maddalena is a great fight. Della Maddalena surprised me in this fight with Belal Muhammad. Like, he just showed that he's much better than people gave him credit for. He's so well-rounded, so skilled. Makhachev, though, bigger, will have an ability to not be cutting all the weight. He'll be more full. He'll be more, like, fresh. I'm interested.
Cormier also mentioned that Makhachev, without the burden of cutting to 155 pounds, will likely enter the fight healthier and stronger. That extra energy could give him a major advantage, but it still depends on how successful he is with his wrestling. The Dagestani fighter has proven his dominance once he takes control on the ground, but if the takedowns don't come easily, the bout could shift in JDM's favor.
I think that it'll come down to the wrestling of Islam versus Jack's takedown defense and how stingy is he going to be able to be with Islam. Because when Islam can take guys down early, they really struggle. The only time a fight even looks competitive is when they can defend takedowns and he spends large amounts of time on his feet, which he does really well too.
With Jack's win, the anticipated fight between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev may have slipped away, but interestingly, Ilia himself had sensed this matchup was coming. In a conversation with Joe Rogan, he mentioned his belief that the fight would eventually happen. Joe also shared his thoughts, adding fuel to the speculation around a bout that has now become the talk of the town.
Even if he wins, they're gonna make that fight happen against Islam.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, if Jack Della Maddalena wins, then Jack is the new welterweight champion. And, you know, maybe he fights Islam. That makes a lot of sense. The problem with Islam fighting Belal is that they train together. And I think, you know, they had kind of said
how many guys we see fighting between each other that they used to train before?
Oh, I agree. I mean, I think they should fight.
Yeah, they should fight.
I definitely think they should fight. I think Khabib doesn't like that idea.
Yeah.
They have 500 fighters in the roster at least.
Meanwhile, Brendan Schaub, sharing his thoughts on Jack Della Madalena's upcoming fight, noted that Islam Makhachev could be even more dangerous at 170 than at 155. He expressed strong confidence in Madalena's abilities, referencing his performance against Belal Muhammad and highlighting that, with Craig Jones in his corner, Jack is shaping up to be a perfectly formidable opponent.
JDM beat his ass and forced him to fight his fight. Forced him to keep it on the feet. When they got in close, he really took advantage of it, and he just dominated him. JDM looked fantastic. Dominate him. You know, even though this fight card sucked Bigfoot's dick, there were serious implications because we know if Belal lost, then we're gonna get Islam up at 170, which is exciting. I think Islam's a bigger problem at 70 than he is 55. I think Islam not cutting all that weight and fighting at 70 is such a problem, And we'll find out, because JDM's the perfect guy to go against Islam, especially with Craig Jones in his corner, the Dagestani killer.
Furthermore, Brendan pointed out that after watching Jack Della Madalena's success against Belal Muhammad, he's even more intrigued by the upcoming fight with Islam Makhachev. He predicted that the outcome will heavily depend on Makhachev's approach and suggested that Islam would need to start strong and engage early to make the fight even more electrifying.
After watching JDM and have that success against Belal, I'm even more intrigued again for JDM versus Makhachev now. I think Makhachev's gonna have his hands full. If JDM beats him, good God, that's crazy. It's all gonna be predicated on can Makhachev get him down. And
giving his insights, Charles Oliveira stated that Jack Della Maddalena is a fighter who breaks opponents down gradually, wearing them out as he moves forward. He noted that Islam Makhachev is a completely different type of challenge and could be even stronger at 170. Oliveira emphasized that Maddalena will need to adjust his game plan and adopt a more grappling-focused approach to be successful against Islam.
Quem que você acha que ganha entre o Jack Della Maddalena vendo aí o Islam?
Madalena, ele é um jogo muito complicado, porque ele é um cara que... Ele não vem pra te nocautear rápido, ele vem pra te finalizar, ele vem te magoando, né?
Aos poucos, né?
Aos poucos. Foi o que ele fez agora na luta contra o Bilal. Só que eu acho que o Islam vai se dar muito bem nessa categoria, né, mano? Agora vai estar muito mais forte, é um jogo que, tipo, ele gosta de agarrar e botar pra baixo. Eu acho que o Jack Madalena fazia a mesma luta que ele fez, né? Agora contra o Bilal, batendo, movimentando, saindo, machucando, é uma luta, mas se deixar o Islam agarrar e botar pra baixo é o time.
As the fight with Islam approaches, Robert Whittaker shared his thoughts, stating that any specific predictions would depend on how Islam looks after moving up in weight. He acknowledged that the fight won't be easy for Jack, but expressed confidence in his ability, highlighting Jack's hunger and athletic X factor that could bring out his best against Islam. Whittaker added that while Islam shares similar fighting skills with Bilal, he's on a much higher level, so he can prove to be a greater danger.
Definitely, but like I said, it is hard to try to get like an accurate gauge on what it's going to look like, not knowing how Islam is going to look when he moves up. Okay, it's always the question everybody asks when anybody is moving up a weight division or down a weight division. Okay, there's so many unknowns involved, but saying that, I think that Islam can do everything that Bilal does, but way better. Okay, way better. So, and the fight, I thought Jack handedly had the fight, but it was a fight. Okay, so I don't think it'll be an easy fight for Jack, but I believe in Jack. I think he's got that X factor. He's got that hunger there.
Robert further acknowledged that while this opportunity presents a tough and different challenge for Jack Maddalena, he believes Jack is capable of doing the impossible. Reflecting on his stance, Whittaker mentioned watching Jack take on fighters like Gilbert Burns and Bilal Muhammad, and said he sees a real chance for Jack to turn a new page in UFC history by defeating Islam Makhachev.
You know, he's got the ticker, and you know, just like with Bilal, just like with Burns before, I think he can do the impossible.
Sharing his excitement, Demetrius Johnson weighed in on the fight, highlighting the potential it brings. He noted that both fighters possess great skills, with exceptional movement and footwork. Johnson also pointed out that Islam Makhachev getting this opportunity is well deserved and could be a defining step toward becoming a double champion.
I think Islam Makhachev has done enough. He's beat Volk twice. He's beat pretty much everybody in the lightweight division. Charles Oliveira, he hasn't fought Justin Gaethje. I think it's time for him to have the opportunity to become a double champ. And I like this fight a lot. I like it a lot because, you know, they both move good on the feet. They both move a lot. Body kicks. You can definitely see Islam go for a double leg takedown, uses judo, his wrestling. And how would Jack Della respond? Jack Della's crisp on the feet as well, with his hands to straight punches. They're both big 170ers, and I'm excited for this fight. If I had to guess, this fight will probably take place at MSG. Reason why I say that is because you have Jack Della who just fought.
Revealing a possible date based on his speculation, Demetrius Johnson highlighted how both fighters could come together effectively for this bout, especially with Islam having the chance to become a double champion and Jack Maddalena already proving his dominance against Bilal Muhammad. He also mentioned the suggested timeline, allowing Jack adequate time to recover and prepare fully for the fight.
He's pretty banged up, so let's give him 2 months to recover. That puts us in May, June, July. Okay, July. Then you have, I would like Jack Della to get at least 3 to 2 months to prepare for this fight. So July, August, September, October, November 5th is right when they're gonna do it. So if I had to say it, they'll probably put this fight on next to hopefully John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. If I had to guess, this is gonna be MSG, Madison Square Garden. That's when this fight's gonna happen. But I'm very happy that they have decided to give Islam Makhachev the opportunity to fight for the 170-pound strap.
Acknowledging Islam Makhachev's hard work, his head coach Javier Mendez expressed strong confidence in Islam's ability to defeat Jack Della Maddalena. He asserted that Islam is going to deliver a peak performance and prove to be the kind of fighter Jack has never faced before in his entire career.
You know, it's hard to say. It's hard to say if he's a harder challenge. You know, I just know Islam wants this one. So for me, that's the challenge I want, you know, and it's the challenge that I know Islam's going to be, you know, supreme over, because I just know his skill set. I know what he brings to the table, and he brings an incredible work ethic along with skill set in every area. So, you know, Islam is a whole different animal than Jack's ever been involved with. So if that fight does materialize, you know, we're going to see a hell of a fight, and you're going to see Islam perform at an absolute incredible level.
Javier further pointed out that another key factor is the weight class, emphasizing that Islam will prove to be a strong and capable fighter in the welterweight division. He asserted that Islam's move up in weight won't be an issue, dismissing any concerns and highlighting that the added weight will not hinder his performance.
And also, you know, the weight is not super big for him either. So he's going to be a fairly decent welterweight. So Islam won't be a small guy. He'll be a decent welterweight if that fight materializes.
And that's where things stand. The Islam camp hasn't even started yet, but the buzz is building fast. Everyone's eyes are on the horizon for that final deal announcement. But will it bring unity or just more division? Drop your predictions in the comments. Will the deal shake the game or fall flat? If you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more real-time updates, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss the moment the deal finally drops. Until next time, stay tuned.